I'd like to welcome Zainab Johnson to Sidewalks Entertainment. Hi, Zainab. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So, stand up comedian, actor, podcaster, writer, tell me about how you got into the work that you do. How did you get into stand up comedy and how did that segue into acting? Or was it the other way around?
I think they both happened around the same time. But I started doing stand up, and stand up was the more surprising one, to be very honest with you. But I started doing stand up. Yeah, I don't know. One day I went to an open mic. I've always loved comedy. I've loved stand up, but I never really thought that it was something that I don't know, real people did. And then spending a lot of time in like comedy clubs, I realized that people do this. And I went to an open mic one day and it didn't go too terribly. And I've continued it, and it really has been like a wonderful sort of avenue into writing and storytelling and acting, and hosting and podcasting.
Yeah.
It really has just ushered me into all of these things.
So, as you mentioned, podcast, you also have your own podcast titled I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. Tell me about your podcast and what inspired you to create it.
So I do a podcast. It's a weekly podcast on YouTube. And one day I was thinking like I consider myself to be a really reasonable person. And a lot of times that's the way I look at the world. Like, oh man, this was a pretty unreasonable choice or reasonable. This is a reasonable way to look at things. And I decided to like pose the question like if we stopped in every moment and asked ourselves, am I being reasonable? Could this be an overall better world for everybody? Right. And I felt like I
Mm.
wanted to build a community on that sort of like question. And that's what I'm doing, and like we talk about everything, nothing's off limits, but it really is kind of like, is this reasonable or not? That's like the best place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Ah, I love that. So, outside of work, what do you like to do in your free time? What are your hobbies?
So I really like doing things outdoors. I really like moving outdoors, like I'll go on long runs, I'll go on long walks. Preferably I like those walks to end in like a good croissant or a good pastry and a good like cup of, a good latte or something like that. But I also really just love sitting around like, a kitchen table, with like the people that I love, friends and family, and like just like chatting. Like that is truly one of my favorite things to do.
Connecting with your loved ones. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, over snacks, preferably.
So you are Alicia in the sci-fi comedy series Upload. It's a futuristic series where humans can upload themselves into a virtual afterlife. Um, the show is fantastic. All of you guys are just so great. Just want to let you know.
Thank you.
So, how would you describe your experience has been working on this series and what do you enjoy most about playing Alicia?
I describe my experience working on Upload as like a gift, really. I've learned so much. I've had like a wonderful cast to do this with. Greg was like an awesome like creator and like leader in this. We've had amazing writers, amazing directors, just so many parts, so many people had to come together to make this happen. And it's really been like a wonderful ride. So I look at it as only a gift. And I've enjoyed playing Alicia because Alicia gets to sort of like say what she wants. Say she gets to like call out what the audience might be thinking. She gets to burst Luke's bubble all the time. She gets to sort of like be a prankster. She gets to support her friend. She gets to show up for Nora, who, is really like the heart of the show. She gets to be a bit contrary sometimes too, where everybody is like, Nathan's so perfect. Alicia's like, but is he though? You know, she gets to do all of that, and it's been really, really like fun, to play her, truly.
So, from an audience point of view, if upload were possible, what do you think of this concept of being uploaded into a virtual afterlife, and would you do it?
I think that it is fascinating. And
It
I do.
is, right?
Yeah, I think that it's fascinating. I remember talking on FaceTime for the first time years ago and being fascinated by that, right? And I'm sure 20 years before we talked on FaceTime, people were like, that's never gonna happen, right? We still doing rotary or whatever was done, right? 20 years ago. But so I think that we're not super far from some version of that. I don't believe that I would upload in the way that we presented on the series. I don't think that I would upload, to some virtual, heaven, but I would definitely, I think, carry on relationships with people who have been virtually uploaded. Meaning, like, if that was something that my mother chose, or one of my siblings chose, or even one of my close friends, I would happily maintain that relationship and probably be really grateful for it. To
Yeah.
extend some time with like
Oh, I
people that
love
I love.
that.
Yeah. But for me, I don't know. I kind of don't want like some random customer service angel being in charge of like my existence. I can't take it.
Yeah, you know what? I totally wholeheartedly agree with that. Like, be keeping in touch with people who chose the virtual
Yeah.
afterlife, but not actually uploading myself. I am totally on board with your idea.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And to everybody that watches the show, like, thank you. We love the support. We love that you've been on this journey with us. And if you ever miss us, just know you can always start back at episode 1.
Yes. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna end up rewatching the whole series all over again because you guys are just
Yes.
so fantastic. I love the show.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Everyone, be sure to watch Zainab Johnson in the sci fi comedy series Upload on Prime Video.